Older Americans are facing a problem. They don't have enough money to retire. According to the Federal Reserve Bank, the average 65 to 74-year-old has a little over $426,000 saved. While that might sound like a lot of money, the problem is that financial experts generally recommend saving anywhere between $1 million to $2 million for retirement. And when you look at the average retirement savings of $426,000, the numbers obviously don't match up. Lots of financial planners call retirement planning a three-legged stool because there are three legs to your financial plan, which are: number one, having money from Social Security; traditionally, number two, also having money from your pension; and then number three, you would have money from your savings and investments. The problem with this old method is, of course, pensions are a thing of the past. Social Security is drying up, and that leaves just your savings and investments, which is why things have changed over the last number of decades. So let's take a look at the new three-legged stool. The new three-legged financial stool looks more like this. You have your Social Security, then you have your tax-deferred retirement accounts, your 401k, then your IRA, and then you have your own personal investments. Now the problem is the average person, the average American, is putting a lot of weight on their stool right here on Social Security, and then they have everything else here and very little here. Now, if we really think about this from a stool perspective, that means you have a long leg here, and then nothing here, but a stool with uneven legs can't really stand. You have a long leg here, but you're not taking care of yourself here. I mean, if we take a look at Social Security, a lot of people talk about how Social Security is drying up, but that's really not the concern, because of course the government can work with the Federal Reserve Bank to print more money and keep paying out Social Security checks. But the bigger problem that you'll see with Social Security is that Social Security is not keeping up with the growing cost of living. For example, in 2025, Social Security recipients are going to be receiving a 2.5% raise, which really doesn't keep up with inflation for the average person. Then if you say that Social Security is not enough, people will say, well, at least to have a 401k and my IRA, this is what's going to be able to fund my retirement. Except even the founder of the 401k has come out and said that your 401k was not intended to be your sole retirement plan. In fact, only about a third of Americans are investing their money outside of their 401k into things like stocks. Take a look. According to the Pew Research Center, about 1/3 of Americans said that they were personally invested in stocks, bonds, or mutual funds other than those held in their IRA or 401k in 2019. What does that mean? If you're thinking about retirement planning, your Social Security is definitely not going to be enough. Now, a lot of people assume and hope that the 401k or IRA is going to be enough, but generally that's not going to be enough either. This is a good place to start, but you also have to do this if you really want to be able to live a free retirement, have a free retirement time where you can do what you want and not have to worry about money, but that's going to require you to invest your money yourself. Now, part of the reason why a lot of people don't want to invest their money is because they're scared of risk, and it's kind of understandable when you take a look at how people have lost money in the past. I mean, if we take a look at stock ownership over the last number of decades, what you'll see is that stock ownership peaked not in 2024, but back in 2007. And if you remember what happened after 2007, we saw the big 2008 financial meltdown where the stock market crashed, the economy crashed. I mean, it was a horrible time, but that left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, where I had my money in the markets, I saw the markets crash, and people got scared. They lost their life savings, they lost a lot of investments, and that scares people from investing. But what we know, if we take a look at markets over a longer period of time, is that yes, we go through recessions, yes, we go through market crashes, but despite that, markets have grown decade after decade after decade for over a century. The three biggest pros with the 401k is: number one, you get the tax-deferred nature; number two, you get a match from your employer sometimes; and number three is it's relatively simple to get started. Starting with being tax-deferred, there are Roth 401ks and traditional 401ks, both which have different tax benefits, but the whole idea is once your money is in the 401k, your money can grow tax-free. Now, when you use a Roth 401k, you pay taxes before the money goes in, so you pay taxes today, but then when you pull the money out, which is hopefully when it's worth a lot more, you don't have to worry about taxes. You can pull the money out generally tax-free. With a traditional 401k, you don't pay any money in taxes today, so you have more dollars that go into the account today. Then this money can grow tax-free, and then when it comes time for you to retire, you can generally pull this money out but then you got to pay taxes. Now, some people like the traditional idea because they say when I'm 65 or 70 years old and I want to pull the money out, I'm not going to have an income, so my income is going to be very low, so I'm going to qualify for a lower tax rate. Other people will say, I want to have a lot of income when I'm 65 or 70 years old, so I don't want to do that. Not to mention the fact that I don't know what the tax rate's going to be in the future. We know that the government's borrowing a lot of money, and it looks like taxes will likely be going up. So you got to decide what's right for you. If it was me, I would rather go down the Roth route because I don't want to have to worry about those future taxes, and I want to have a lot of income when I'm older. Number two, this one might be the most unique benefit to your 401k because you can get tax benefits in places outside of your 401k, but your 401k gives you the option to potentially get an employer match. Now, this is going to depend on your company. Not every employer offers this, and every employer is going to have a different type of match, but this is kind of like a way for you to get some extra money out of your job. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't like your 401k, you don't want to invest your money in a 401k, but your employer is offering a match, ask them if they can give you that match outside of the 401k so you can invest that money somewhere else as well. But the whole idea here is if you invest certain amounts of money in your 401k, if you invest $1,000 a month in your 401k, maybe your employer gives you another $200 a month, $500 a month, maybe even a full $1,000 match. Just depends on the company, but this is what some people like to call free money just for investing in a 401k, and it's a pretty nice benefit. And the third is, of course, that your 401k is simple to use. I mean, when you go and get a job, your employer might give you a pamphlet that says do this, this, and this, and now you can start investing in your 401k. You don't have to worry about it because it is done through the company and it's nothing for you to really set up. Now, what about the opposite? What are the cons of a 401k? Well, the three cons that I want to highlight is you have limitations with your 401k as to where you can invest. Number two is the control when your money is inside of a 401k. And of course, number three are the fees, because yes, your 401k has a fee, even if you didn't know or think that your 401k has a fee. Starting with limitations. You have limitations on where your money can be invested. You're limited to the funds that are offered within your 401k account. You can generally not take that money and put it into whatever stocks you want, or take that money and invest it into real estate or into a business idea. You don't generally have that ability. You're kind of stuck with whatever funds are offered in your 401k account. Second has to do with control. And there are a couple levels of control here. You have governmental control, and then you have your own company control, because sometimes your company will use your 401k match as a way to keep you at the company for longer than you might like, because, well, your 401k is hosted through your company and they might require some certain vesting in order for you to receive all that money through your 401k. So it's a way for employers to keep you at a company, but also the government, because you can't always just go in and touch your money whenever you want. You have to wait until you are a certain age in order to access your 401k money. What does that mean? If you tap into your 401k before you're 59 and a half years old, you're gonna have to pay a penalty for trying to access your own money. And then of course our fees. When you invest your money into a fund, you're gonna have to pay fees. Now, that's generally not an issue, but the problem I have is sometimes people don't know what these fees are, and they don't know what the real cost of these fees are gonna be over the lifespan of your investing career. And so what I'd like you to do is, if you have a 401k, take a minute and take a look at what is your expense ratio. That's how you say a fee in the financial world. And that's what the fee is that you're paying for every dollar that you invest, for every year that your money is invested in your 401k. If you have a small 1% fee, you might wonder, how much is that going to cost you over the course of your career? And the small 1% fee could end up costing you close to 28% of your total investment value, meaning if you were going to have $1 million in your investment account, you might be paying over $250,000 in fees because of the small 1% fee, because it's not just a 1% fee that you pay one time, it's a 1% fee that you pay on every dollar that you invest, plus every dollar that you earn, for every year that your money is invested. So not only is your money compounding, but your fees are compounding as well, which is why it's so important for you to understand your fees. Now, your 401k is a great place for the average person to start investing. I don't care for 401ks. I don't use a 401k or IRA. I invest my money myself because I can get these benefits outside of a 401k. But this is where what I'm trying to say is it's a great place to start. But don't stop at your 401k. Just because you're putting some money in here doesn't mean it's going to be enough. And if you really want to have true financial freedom, you're going to have to invest your money outside of a 401k as well, which means you're going to have to put some money aside to invest. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.